you don't have deal flow, you don't have a business if you're a real estate investor. So finding deals is really the foundation to your business. You know, I meet a lot of investors and they tell me that they can't find deals or they're not getting properties under contract. The next question I ask them is, well, how many offers did you make? And if they tell me 1, 2, 3, that's not how you find deals. If you're going to especially pinpoint deals on the MLS, you got to make a lot of offers. So, hey Dan, can you fix the projector? We're going to be talking about the MLS, but I don't want to just strictly talk about MLS tonight. I'm going to just talk about some off-market stuff that you guys need to be involved with. Because for me and my business, the MLS is a part of my business. It's not all my business. You cannot rely on the MLS alone. So what you're going to want to do is look for other types of opportunities. So sheriff sales are a great opportunity. If somebody is going to get foreclosed on in a matter of days, we had Albert John here talking about a gentleman who's going to get foreclosed on the very next day. He talked about it at one of our previous meetings. And he actually met Ray at the meeting from National Title Solutions. This deal netted him 6 figures profit, and he prevented that homeowner from going into foreclosure. So don't overlook sheriff sales. If somebody's going to be foreclosed on, there's a lot of motivation there, and we can help a lot of people. Driving for dollars. So what's driving for dollars? Driving for dollars is looking for distressed properties. There's properties all across Chicagoland and the suburbs that need work. What you should be doing is leaving these people notes or a pamphlet or a flyer or a door hanger, essentially telling them we buy houses and how to get in contact with you. You then want to follow that up with direct mail so you stay in front of them. Driving for dollars is a free way to get leads in your business, so you guys need to be utilizing that. Websites like Craigslist, Fizbo.com, there's a lot of people that post on those. If you're going to use those websites, you need to act fast, just like the MLS. Wholesalers. There's a lot of wholesalers in this room. Get on wholesalers' buyers list. Now, if a wholesaler sends you out a deal, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a deal. But you will quickly find out the good wholesalers and the ones that don't have such good deals. Public records. There's so much free information out there that you can get out-of-state owners, code violations. You can go on the City of Chicago's website for that. If a health department shuts down an area or a house specifically, again, these are very, very motivated sellers that we want to go after. Your mailman knows every distressed house in his route. He also knows every house with a pit bull as well. But your mailman can be a great source of leads for you as well. Of course, fire departments, they know of properties that are fire damaged. Properties, some fire departments even keep records of houses where there's hoarders. Because if they go to fight a fire and the person was a hoarder, that's going to be an extra hot fire that they need to be aware of. So sometimes fire departments even have lists that you might not think they do. Direct mail. Direct mail is one of the main foundations of my business. You want to send out direct mail to probates, pre-foreclosures, divorce. There's many different lists that you can market to. And then bandit signs. These are the signs you see on the side of the road that say we buy houses, or we buy ugly houses, or we buy houses cash. These are a great way to get leads in your business. And of course, there's print advertisement, newspapers, phone books, penny savers, billboards. I know a gentleman off of I think he paid like $200. He posted an ad in a Spanish-speaking, like penny savers type book at the laundromat. That one advertisement generated him over 30 leads because it was in Spanish. So think outside the box when you're going after some of these different advertisement avenues. So pre-MLS. This is also where you should also be trying to get deals. So what is pre-MLS? That means these are properties that a listing agent has already met with a seller and they have not listed the home for sale yet. The homeowner might be doing work to the house. The homeowner might be cleaning out the house. What we need to do as investors is teach and educate realtors on what we do in our business and how we can help them. Not only can we help the homeowner, I had a realtor that reached out to me. The lady was actually, she was on her deathbed, and she didn't want her children fighting over her estate. So they needed to close, and they needed to close quickly because they wanted to avoid the entire probate process before that happened. So she came to me, great for her, because for the realtor, she made 2 commissions. She represented me, she represented the seller, and then when I relisted it, she also represented me as an agent as well. So if you're a real estate agent, how many agents in here would like to get 3 commissions on one house? Absolutely. 3 commissions, and that 3rd commission was twice the sales price of what we actually originally bought the house. So it was actually like she made 4 commissions off that house. So pre-MLS is a great way. Network with realtors, let them know, I'm not your buyer for the house with the white picket fence. If you know a house that needs a ton of work or the owner is a hoarder, give me a call. Many times when you tell that to a real estate agent, they'll always say, oh, I wish I'd known you a year ago because I had a property that was perfect for you. You need to then stay in front of these realtors via email, via text, via calls, so they're remembered that you're going to give them 3 commissions if they bring those types of deals to you first. And what's great for the sellers is sometimes if they're a hoarder, they're keeping their privacy, and then it's not getting blasted all over the MLS. So now we're going to talk about the MLS. The MLS is an extremely powerful tool that many times is not correctly utilized by many people. The problem is a lot of people in here, if you're not a licensed real estate agent, is you don't have access to the MLS. So there's different ways you can get access to the MLS. Number one, of course, is you can become a real estate agent. That's one route. Another route is you can become a real estate agent's assistant and do work for that real estate agent. And you might do that work pro bono, maybe 4 or 5 hours a week, just for access to the MLS. It's that important that you have access to the MLS in one way or another. You can also get set up on automatic searches by that real estate agent. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. And you can be very specific for different areas and different criteria that we're going to be talking about. And then the layman's way of getting information from the MLS is, of course, using Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, Realtor.com. These sites get all their information straight from the MLS. The problem is Zillow, Trulia, a lot of times are not very accurate. You can use those websites but verify it if you're not licensed with Realtor.com. That's the most accurate website that I've come across when comparing it to the MLS, whether something's active or contingent. So there's pros and cons of utilizing the MLS as a source for deal flow. A pro is that the information is easily available. A con is that it's available to pretty much anyone and everyone. So that means there's a lot of competition. Another pro is it's really the most abundant source of homes out there. The cons, it's also the most abundant source of buyers as well. So again, you got to keep that in mind. So MLS, you got to move fast. MLS, another pro, it's very, very easy to set up searches. A con is that really only real estate agents can fully customize those searches based on your criteria. So you want to make sure they put in that detailed information for you.
If you're an assistant, can you set up the searches?
Yes.
Physically?
Yes. So if you're an assistant, you almost have full access to the MLS. You just can't do certain tasks in the MLS, but you can set up searches absolutely. So I say 10 offers a day keeps the doctor away. because 10 offers, it really is not enough to even get one deal. It's been my experience, anywhere between 1 to 5% of your offers are going to be accepted on the MLS. So even if you've offered 100 times on the MLS, you may not get a deal. Don't give up. Persistence is key. You need to be out there. And maybe the problem that you're having is you're not reacting fast enough. That's many times why you're not getting these deals. And you need to have a system to make offers immediately when they're listed. So good deals don't last long. If you wait until tomorrow or the time that you need to view the house to make your offer, it will be gone. Good deals do not last long. Deals can be posted at any time of the day. They can be posted, I like to list my homes right after midnight so I get a full exposure, 24 hours. But they could be listed at 12:05 a.m., they could be listed at 5 a.m., 10 a.m., 3 p.m. You need to have somebody who's monitoring the MLS for you for these new properties or have your searches just right. You can set your searches up so you actually get 6 different times that you get updated of any new properties. And of course, try to submit offers on the first day they're listed and as quickly as possible.
Josh, what percentage of the list price are you offering at the 1 to 5%?
I'm going to be talking about different sales types and how you approach each one differently. And again, why I said 1 to 5% is because some people it's going to be less, some people it's going to be more. If you're offering a little bit more, if you're not using hard money, you can offer a little bit more and your percentage is going to go up a little bit. But again, if you make 10 offers and 3 of them get accepted, you are offering way too much money and you're going to lose a lot of money. That's a very bad sign if you're getting 3 out of 10 offers accepted. So different questions to ask your buyer's agents. This is if you're interviewing someone to be your buyer's agent to help you find deals. If you're looking for somebody local that's specifically looking in a specific targeted area, you want to find out how long have they been working that geographic area. Many questions I like to ask people is where's your office and where do you live? If someone answers, I live in Naperville and my office is in Naperville, there's a very good chance this agent, they should really know Naperville very, very well. This is somebody, I'm going to approach that agent as, hey, you know, if you know anyone in your office that has a property that's a hoarder or needs work, now they become a bird dog for you, and maybe instead of making 3 commissions, they can make 2 commissions. But you educate them that, hey, I'm looking for properties in Naperville that meet this criteria. Because they may not have deals necessarily or listings coming up, but they know people in their office. How many houses did you close last year? You're not looking for the rock star that sold 500 homes last year. You're just not worth their time. And working with investors can be difficult, but and many times those types of realtors are not going to want to talk to you because they have their box where they make a ton of money doing 500 listings and they do it within this box. So you need to find an agent that's hungry and willing to do some work. How long have you been working with investors? You really care about their experience with investors, not homeowners. If they say, well, I sold 25 houses last year. Well, were those for investors? Was that were you working with buyers, traditional buyers, and showing them homes? What was your experience with investors? Do you own any investment properties yourself? The best agents that I found are also investors themselves. A lot of the agents in this room are those types of agents. How many investors do you currently work with? If a real estate agent is working with 20 investors, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to stay at the top of their totem pole where you get the prize deals. So you don't want to be working with somebody who's working with a ton of investors, but a handful of investors, and maybe your criteria is different than the other investors. And again, offering to relist with that realtor might actually put you over the edge of their other investors because they're not offering them the relist or the multiple commissions. Do you have the time to take on another client? Just like contractors can take on too many jobs, realtors can take on too many clients. So if they don't have the time to show you houses, because a lot of times we need to get into these very quickly to make offers, again, you may want to consider working with another agent. And what types of deals do you specialize in? There's lots of agents that specialize in different fields of real estate. Some are really, really good at HUD housing. Some are really, really good at short sales. Some are really, really good at just working with people that are in divorce. People who are in divorce, sometimes they'll sell the house for as little as possible so they get back at the other spouse. These are all specialized agents that you need to introduce yourself, meet, and that way you have multiple sources of deals coming into your pipeline and stay in front of these agents. Do you help with many REO properties? If you're specifically targeting REOs, they need to know the process to submit paperwork for REOs. Certain types of REOs require blue ink. Some of them are very, very specific on the way that the offer's submitted. A really important question is, will you help me analyze the market that I'm going to be buying in versus not just giving me a number, but let's dive into this and help me analyze this thoroughly of what am I going to be able to sell this house for when it's all done. And you don't necessarily take that realtor's word. Sometimes they will overstate an ARV, meaning after repair value, because they just want the listing on the back end and they're not that concerned about you making a profit. So you may want to verify that with another agent as well, but you need an agent that's willing to really dig into the numbers with you. And you need an agent that understands the type of offers we make. You know, I say I never submit a lowball offer, ever. My offers are what makes sense for me and my investment criteria. I'm looking for a minimum 10% net profit. So to get that type of net profit, a lot of times if a home is listed for $200,000, or the after repair value is $200,000 and it needs $40,000 in work, the most I can offer on that home to get approximately a 10% return is $100,000. That's not a lowball, that's just incorporating the holding expenses, closing costs, commissions, taxes, utilities, insurance, all these things add up. So you need a realtor who's not afraid to submit low offers. That's very, very important. And I don't even want to use the word low. Offers that meet your investment criteria. So this was answering your question. So how do you offer on various types of properties? Well, REOs, typically they want very, very, very close to list price. Now, not all areas are like this, but I would say the majority, maybe 80% of the Chicagoland area, if a REO is listed at $200,000, more than likely they're going to want very close to $200,000. They might go down to $197,000. They're probably not going to go down much less than that unless you hit that offer at the time that they do their MSR. Now, what an MSR is, a monthly status report. This is something that REO agents do. And what they do is they submit to the bank the condition of the home, updated pictures, they give what's going on with the house. And then what happens sometimes is if you catch right before the bank says, all right, I want you to drop the price to $190. If you catch it at that right time before the agent goes into the MLS to change it, you might be able to get that offer accepted. So again, communicating with the agents is very important if you're going directly to the REO agents. But many times at the REOs, they want very, very close to list price. Short sales, they take a percentage of the BPO, which stands for broker priced opinion. It's not broker priced fact. It's broker priced opinion. I was talking to Zach the other day about being on short sales. If the house has mold, I'm waiting for that BPO agent outside that house with a hazmat suit on and a breathing apparatus. Do you think that BPO is going to come in high when I'm wearing a hazmat suit and I tell him he better put one on, or do you think it's going to come in lower? And I'm just looking out for his safety. I'm not doing anything wrong. Y'all got to be safe.
What are those percentages?
So those percentages, so FHA will take approximately 84% to 88% of the broker-priced opinion. So that means if the broker-priced opinion was $100,000 and it's an FHA, they may take as low as $84,000. So in some cases, you can get short sales for less than you can anything else that's sold in the neighborhood. I've gotten short sales where I've gotten it $50,000 cheaper than anything that's sold in the neighborhood. But it's because I was at that BPO and I showed that BPO agent everything that was wrong with that house. And then those are some different percentages that you can get, but short sales, if you're patient and you're willing to have lots of offers and a full pipeline, short sales can be a great deal source. Estate sales. If an estate sale is a listed property, but someone passed away and they're selling it as an estate sale, many times the list price, what they're asking, is what they want. So if there's an estate sale and it's priced correctly, do not mess around and offer $5,000 less, because by the time you do that, another offer is going to come in down the road. Offer them their full asking price and tie it up immediately if it's priced correctly. That is the most important thing with estate sales. If the agent lists the home and they get an offer at full price, that real estate agent looks like a rock star to that person doing the estate sale. That's all they want, is that list price. So go in, go as is, waive all your contingencies. Then there's normal distress sellers. These are just people that they may have equity, but their house is distressed. Maybe they live in another state, the house has just become a mess. You want to find out what is that seller's needs. What are they looking for out of the home? And that's why picking the brain of that agent is important. Another type of buyer you want to go after is anybody with high days on market. If you've had a home listed for 180 days, 200 days, 300 days or more, the seller is starting to get desperate. Many times they could do a small price adjustment and they would be able to sell the house. But we come in, I don't want to say lowball, we make our offer of what we need to buy that house at. High days on market are very, very motivated sellers depending on the case, especially if the house is vacant. They're paying taxes on the property, they're paying utilities, they got to mow the lawn. The city keeps giving them violations because the grass isn't kept up. These are extremely, extremely motivated sellers. So go in with your offers. You could set up searches specifically for people that have high days on market. Auctions. Persistence is key. So auctions could be, courthouse steps, or what I'm referring to here is like Hubzu, auction.com. You got to have thick skin with these auctions because you can win them 2, 3, 4 times and you still don't get the property. And what's funny about auctions is many times I've bought auction properties where the first time I won, I was actually willing to pay more, and then the one they accepted, I offered less. So persistence is key with auctions. You got to win those multiple times, many times, to get those under contract. Now, custom fields. So in the MLS, your agent can set up very, very specific criteria for the type of homes that you're looking for. For example, if you're looking for a home with a specific school district, you can have an agent set you up for that school district. If you're looking with a home with a specific amount of bedrooms, perhaps you're specifically targeting 2-bedroom homes because other investors aren't going after 2-bedroom homes. You could have a search specifically for 2-bedroom homes because this might be an opportunity for you to pop the top and turn it into a 3-bedroom upstairs with a full master bathroom, a shared bath upstairs, blow out the first floor, and then finish the basement. So you can set up specific target searches for homes, whether a certain bedroom count, bathroom count, perhaps you're looking for 2 ones. Again, these are very undesirable homes for your typical homeowner. So us as investors are probably going to be the only solution for many of these homes. So you can set up how you want to search for these houses. I like searching actives, auctions, back on market. Back on market is great. A lot of agents don't have that on their searches. Sometimes it'll go back on the market and people get less activity during that time because it just went back on the market and somebody didn't check that box. So back on markets are great. That usually means that something fell through, probably because the buyer that previously was going to buy it had a home inspection done. What happened at that home inspection? They realized it wasn't the home of their dreams anymore. Now they realize, hey, we got to sell this to an investor. Back on markets are very important. Or it could be another investor who offered too much for the house. After they did their due diligence, they found that out. Reactivated, same things. Temp. So temps are great because sometimes with temps, I feel like there's shady stuff going on sometimes. The agents are having an inside deal with another investor. Temps are great to go after because other people aren't getting into that property. And then I want to make sure my offer is getting presented to that seller. So I'm following up with that agent. If it's temp, I don't care if I got in there or not. We want to make sure our offer is getting presented to the seller.
What's tip mean?
Temp means temporary, no showings. So like I said, I have seen that where there's shady stuff going on, where they're doing that specifically because they have another investor that's going to possibly buy that. So keep that in mind. Now you can run your search on the MLS at 6 different times. So I just chose various times there. I recommend very early morning, 4 or 5 a.m. Running it again at like 10 a.m., another one at noon, another one at 3 p.m., and another one at 8 p.m. You want to make sure if anything new comes up that you're willing to see these properties. Again, if you utilize the MLS, it can be a very, very powerful tool because you need to get that offer in the seller's hands as quickly as possible. Now, running comps, this is very, very important that you guys understand this more than anything because, again, an agent will sell you on a home on its after repair value when there's no way that you're going to get that value. So we're going to dive into this a little bit. So when you're running comps, you need to make sure that you're using homes that are in the same subdivision. For example, if you have a home that's in a subdivision where all the homes were built in the 1970s, even though your home may be the same square footage as a home in another subdivision that was built in the 2000s, your 1970s house is nothing like those houses that were built in 2000s. Why? Because the closets aren't, the floor plans are not as modern. You need to make sure you're running comps in that same neighborhood. You want to make sure your comps are within a half mile. If you're in Chicago, you can't cross a busy street. So if you're crossing Halstead, Cicero, any major streets, you cannot use those comps. As soon as you cross a busy street, the neighborhood doesn't change completely, but it's a different neighborhood. You can't use those comps. Is the square footage within 5%? Basement square footage in the suburbs is way different than basement square footage in Chicago. You also have to be wary of, are agents telling you the truth on the square footage? Because many a times, an agent will claim that a house is, for example, in Bucktown, all the agents there lie. They say all their homes are over close to 5,000 square feet. They're not that big. You've got a stackable washer and dryer, and you've got 10 by 10 rooms upstairs. You've only got 3 bedrooms upstairs. That's not a 5,000 square foot house. So you need to verify the information that's given to you on square footage. If it's new construction, you can't necessarily find that out. You have to look at bedroom sizes to really determine that information. Our schools are the single most determination of your property value. School districts, if you're using a comp that's in a better school district, you've made the biggest mistake you could ever make. Always, always, always verify the grade school, the middle school, and the high school are the same exact schools as the other comps you're looking at. It's extremely important, unless those other schools are less desirable.
But that weighs heavier in the suburbs than it does in the city.
Correct. I would agree with that, absolutely.
Because in Edgewater, you've got schools that are not great.
Correct. Yeah, most people send their kids to private school.
800,000 to 1.2.
Very true.
Does MLS limit you each time a search gets initiated?
So, automatically, I think the limit is
What's the question?
6.
What's the question?
No, 100
No, what's the question?
entries,
How many?
properties.
No, how many? And you can get the limit's 500 searches. You cannot
Not
exceed.
searches.
How many come back?
One search.
Yeah, you'll get 500 properties is the most that you can do on one search. So on one search, if you have 500 properties that meet your more than 500, only 500 are going to show up.
Okay, if it keeps coming up 100, does somebody put a limit in there?
Possibly. Yeah.
Well, Josh, I think what he's asking, as a realtor, when you send it, it only sends 100 on your initial search, but it'll update every new one. For some reason, that's just the problem with the MLS.
Gotcha.
When you send it to a client, it's only 100.
Sounds like
It's-
saying that.
What you want to do, if you're getting over 100 searches, you need to narrow your criteria, because most of the people here, you're not going to have time to sift through 100 listings. So what you want to do is actually, it's a great question, but you want to refine what you're looking at, certain price points. So for example, what's happening right now is they're not segmenting the data for you. So they may be sending you fully remodeled homes and sending those to you as new listings. I could care less about a home if it's fully remodeled. I'm looking for everything in the dirt. So I'm looking for homes maybe perhaps that are listed $250,000 and below, not the homes that are listed over 500,000. So you just need to set some parameters so you narrow those search results that are getting sent to you. Does that make sense? So this is an example of, with the MLS, and this is the first time I'm using this clicker, so I don't know if it has a laser or not. Oh, here we go. So you can see here how the school districts changed. These are three different, within this very small area, we've got 3 different school districts. Again, I would, as a buyer, I want it in the same school district. So I'm not going to use comps, again, unless they're a worse school from another side of the street. So I'm looking, you can't cross the busy street, you can't cross the river, physical barriers you can't cross. They always say it's on the wrong side of the train tracks. There's a reason for that saying. So when you're on the MLS and you do a map search, there's this little button right here that says elementary and middle school boundaries. You can also do a high school boundaries as well. If you click school district in Chicago, it's not going to help you. The ones you want to select is this one and then this one here. So running comps. Are the comps that a realtor is sending you, are those actually sold? Are they actives? Are there contingents? Just because a home's listed for $1 million and it's active doesn't mean they're going to get anywhere near $1 million. They may be a motivated seller after a while. So you can look at contingents and kind of estimate it, but even contingents, unless you have inside information, they could be listed at $1 million contingent and they're going to sell the house for $800,000. Are the comps sold within the last 6 months or 12 months? We want more recent data. The market's on fire right now, so if you go back 12 months, well, the market's going to be much better, typically, but depends on the neighborhood. There's some neighborhoods in Chicago where the opposite is true. There's some areas of North Center where houses 12 months ago were worth a lot more than they are today. So you really, really need to be very, very cautious on how recent that data is to make your evaluation and how many actives are in that market. Because if you have a ton of rehabbed houses sitting on the market that are actives, just because a bunch of homes sold for $1.2 million 6 months ago, but you've got 15 actives at that price, it's not a good area to be buying houses. Are the comps similar models? So this is important more again in the suburbs. So you can't use a, you can't compare a bungalow to an American Foursquare, okay? The Foursquares are not that desirable. Those are very difficult homes unless you have a rear addition on the first floor. So you need to be able to run the comps so that you're running apples to apples with the homes. You can't compare a two-story if you're in the suburbs, traditional home with the basement with the raised ranch. Those are two completely different styles of homes. Do the comps have similar lots or do they have much larger lots? Here in Chicago, the difference between a 49 wide lot and a 50 wide lot is a big difference. Why is that? Because a 50 wide lot, you can build 2 houses. 49, depending on the neighborhood, you might not be able to do that. In some neighborhoods, you can. Is your house on a busy street? Busy streets can easily lower your property's resale value by 10 to 30, I've even seen it in some cases to 50%. Go to any town, usually the crappiest houses in that town are on the busy street, usually. Are the comps on the other side of the busy street? You can't use those comps because again, it's a different neighborhood. Do the comps have 3-car garages and you have a 1-car attached garage? That's a huge, huge difference. Unless you're going to add those additional 2 garage spaces, you can't use that as a good comp.
These variables, as you described them regarding architecture, style, and so on, are those searchable items within MLS?
You can, but the problem is most agents don't fill that out properly. So like let's say you're only looking for bungalows, you can miss a million bungalows because the agent didn't select that box. So some things on the MLS you can set very, very specific criteria, but you may miss it if you make it too detailed. Because many agents are lazy and they'll just slap it on the MLS without putting in all the right details. Do the comps have forced air, meaning a furnace and a central air conditioner, and your house has a radiator and you're going to keep it a radiator? There's a big difference of a home with radiant heat versus a house with forced air. These are things to keep in mind unless you plan to rehab the house and do the conversion. These are things you need to take into consideration. In the south side, being brick and frame is a huge difference. Why? Because the frame houses were built very poorly when they were built, and the brick homes were built very solid. Most of the brick homes in Chicago were typically built by union, and then when the union was really, really good, and they did really, really good work building Chicago, and those brick homes are solid homes. So you can't take a frame house and say you're going to sell at the same price that a full brick house is going to sell for. So how do you get your offers accepted? This is what's really important. Move quickly. If priced right, offer full price. Try to get that agent to get it in front of that seller as quickly as possible and try to get an executed contract back. You want to be very, I don't want to say the word aggressive. You want to kill them with kindness. With the buyer's agent needs to kill the seller's agent with kindness, because you don't want to be a jerk, but you're trying to get this offer accepted as quickly as possible so you avoid a multiple offer situation. You always, always want to avoid a multiple offer situation. Why getting your offer in right away is vitally important. Waive all your contingencies, every single one of them, because the MLS 6.1 contract has an attorney contingency built right into it. Leave that one. You can back out for any reason whatsoever with an attorney contingency. The house is blue and you wanted a pink house, you could back out. Now, I'm not suggesting you putting a bunch of properties under contract and backing out. Word gets out. But what I'm saying is waive your inspection contingency. Just make the offer, waive all contingencies except your attorney contingency, because a seller that sees an offer with a bunch of contingencies, a lot of times they're not going to accept those offers. So remove your financing contingencies, your inspection contingencies. Within that 5-day attorney review, you can do all that due diligence.
And that could be extended.
And exactly. The attorney, it gets extended almost every single time. I rarely ever see it where attorney inspection is closed. When I'm representing a seller, I'm trying to get that thing closed as quickly as possible, so I lock them into the deal. Close quickly. If you're putting on your contracts that you're going to close in 45 days, that's not going to get a seller excited. Again, you got to find out how quickly can you get the money to do this transaction. But if you can close in 2 weeks, then put a 2-week closing or whatever is important to that seller. Sometimes a quick close is not important. Sometimes they want time because they want their kids to graduate high school. So you need to find out what their needs are, but always go in with a very, very aggressive timeline and then make sure that you say, or we can close this quickly, or we can close on your client's timeline in case they need more time. So you need to be very flexible with that.
I should have asked this earlier, but if you can you shed some light on what your thoughts are as to any of the advice you've given with respect to multi-unit properties?
I think everything here applies to multi-unit properties, absolutely. I mean, multi-unit, you're analyzing them differently because it's based on, you know, cash flow and cap rate. People are looking at different things, but all of these strategies I'm talking about would still apply. If it's priced right and it's a multifamily, I don't want a bunch of other people looking at that multifamily. And then you have your due diligence period to verify the information that they gave you was correct via rent rolls, that sort of thing. And you get all that information during attorney review. So I would still waive all my other contingencies, but have that so you can get all that information validated. My goal is to get it under contract. So,
Is the attorney review a certain clause you still put in? Or?
No, attorney review is built right into the multi-board 6.1 contract, which is the contract that Chicago Realtors use a CAR contract. The 6.1 contract I think is much better for you as a buyer. It gives you more protections. So even wholesalers, I recommend if you're a wholesaler, use a 6.1 contract. Because what happens if you use your contract that you printed off the internet and then they give it to their attorney's going to look at that contract and say, what the heck is this? They might back out of that deal under attorney review with that contract. So, or they might not have attorney review, I guess. But again, we're doing things in an ethical way. I would say use the 6.1 contract. It's the contract that everyone's familiar with. You're not going to raise any red flags. You as a buyer, you have an out if the house isn't what it was advertised. I'm not telling you to put properties under contract and back out. I'm definitely not telling you that. But if the information that was given to you is not correct, that's reason, or you find something that's significant, this is a reason why you can either back out or renegotiate that contract.
How do I get my hands on a 6.1 contract?
Just, you Google it.
Google?
Yeah. They have them online. Yeah, just search multi-board 6.6 and then period 1 contract. Large earnest money deposit. I think Robert Boben, you talked about one time you made an offer on a house. What was your earnest money deposit?
$100,000.
100, and then I think the purchase price was 100,000, right? Something like that.
It was a full purchase price.
When you, and I've done that before, I've done that before, but where I learned that from was from Robert. When you make an offer on a house, So let's just say for $100,000 and you have $100,000 earnest money deposit. Does that seller think you're serious?
Yeah.
Abso-freaking-lutely, he thinks you're serious. Now, are you worried about losing your earnest money? Probably, but that's why you have attorney review. You can back out for any reason whatsoever if you use that right 6.1 contract. So don't be afraid of doing a large earnest money deposit. You don't always have to do 100%, but don't put an offer out there with just $1,000 and think the seller is going to be thrilled about your offer.
This was a bank, REO.
Yeah, that was an REO, and then they went back, I remember your story, and then they said, let's change.
Yeah, no, they were begging me to give them less money as the earnest.
They didn't want the liability of it. But it got him it got you the deal, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. When an REO agent saw that, he was like, all right, this is my buyer. He's not messing around. So give a large earnest money deposit. This will communicate to the seller and the seller's agent that, hey, this person is solid. Not only can they close, they've already can close this deal tomorrow if we can get the title.
There is one risk with that, though, is that even though you can and should get your earnest money back, if you have a cranky seller, they can prolong it and not okay it and tie that money up for a long period of time.
Correct. They could do that.
This was very specific, you know?
Yeah.
It was a bank loan.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying that.
No, you're very correct. It could go into litigation and all of that. But that's why I'm not suggesting you making offers on deals unless you fully intend to make an offer on that deal. The only time you should be backing out if there's a big ticket item that you didn't originally know about, or the seller was not honest on what was really going on with that house. They said there's no foundation issues and the house is doing this when you walk into the house. So, absolutely.
I mean, at that point, they had like 18 offers in the house, and I got it.
18 offers.
Yeah.
Large earnest money deposits work. It's one of the secrets I didn't want to share with you guys, but I figured I was going to give you guys as much value as I could today. So you're welcome. Now, what I'm going to be talking about here is some pretty cutting edge stuff. So if there's any real estate brokers in the room, if you want to talk to me about how you can actually get involved with this, come talk to me afterwards. And then buyers, this is some really, really cool stuff. So right now we have, I didn't develop the system, actually somebody that has bought thousands of properties for a hedge funds developed this. So this literally scrubs the MLS, and every 20 seconds it gets data. And this is data from the MLS, because again, on the MLS you can set up 6 searches at different times of the day. This is live. What happens? This information then gets sent to a live underwriting team that then underwrites the property, the repairs, and then sends that out to you within 30 minutes of it being listed. This is really, really cool stuff. And what happens is you also get, so when it's underwritten, you put in all of your, so let's say for example you get money at 12% and 2 points. So this will actually, you're not getting a blanket email, you're getting a very detailed email based on your cost of money and certain assumptions. And it even gives you a percentage of return that you're looking for. You can say, I'm looking for a 15% return in Arlington Heights for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home with this very specific school district. When that very specific criteria comes across the platform, it will get sent to the underwriters, and then within 30 minutes it will get sent out to you. Again, it inputs your closing costs, finance costs, metrics, and they are already underwritten to you, and then they're emailed to you not only daily, but if there's multiple properties that are coming across, you're getting in your criteria, you're getting emailed throughout the day. You can see profitability and returns based on your deal analyzer, based on your cost of money. We're going to give you not only the cost of your money, but also if you bought it cash, what your return would be. Again, this isn't like a wholesaler that sends out a deal and they're estimating it on they're not incorporating the closing costs, they're not incorporating the financing costs. All of this is already built in and then gets sent to you based on your cost of money. This is really, really cool stuff. You also, so with this email, it's interactive. It's like getting a CMA. And it's even better than a CMA because it's all live and you can look at all the information. So you get a Google Street View. Right on the email, you can do the Street View right from the email, neighborhood view, walk the street, check the neighborhood out. There we're surrounded by two multifamilies, so we're sandwiched between that. That may not be desirable. So that's important to see what does the neighborhood look like.
You're saying it's underwritten as to repair costs? Is that?
So it's underwritten, so what happens is, so every 20 seconds, if anything pops up in the MLS, I'll take you through the process from A to Z. Every 20 seconds, a property pops up active, or new, I should say new. What happens is then it goes to the underwriting team immediately. They then look at the deal, and these are people that are used to underwrite for hedge funds. So these are people that know what they're doing, how to look at the deal. They analyze the deal, they look at the photos, they look at the comps, and then within 30 minutes you're getting that email to you, and the software automatically inputs whatever your cost of money is because you filled out a form telling us exactly how much your cost of money is. So once you get that email, it's based on, let's say you're at 6% at one point, your package is going to look different versus someone else who's paying 15% and 3 points. They're going to be two different complete packages. The comps are going to be the same, but the return is going to be different.
I think maybe you'd ask this, but I'm asking this for sure. Repair costs.
So that's estimated based on the photos.
Okay.
So again, this is where you're going to verify it yourself as well through the photos. Let me get through this because I'll probably answer a lot of questions going through this. So you set it up once, and you see your assumptions in every single deal. There's no more guessing of, okay, I got to put it in my deal analyzer now. Now I have to look at it. Everything is done for you. Your job then is to verify it. And if the deal looks right, you either want to get in or make an offer immediately if the numbers make sense and you do your own due diligence. The key, again, is to getting it out there as quickly as possible. So get direction. So we also are telling you, so let's say you're just looking to do cosmetic rehabs. Well, we're not going to send you deals where you need to do a second story addition. You set your criteria. What type of jobs are you comfortable with doing? Are you comfortable with just doing cosmetic projects? Are you comfortable with doing gut renovations? Are you comfortable with doing gut renovations with second story additions? Are you looking to do new construction? These are all things that you want to see. And then the comps are already, you can see all the comps are lined out here for you. We're not just giving you an ARV and pulling it out of nowhere. These are actually looked at in detail. So there's lots of software out there. I think FlipComp is one. What FlipComp does anybody here use FlipComp? Okay, we've got a couple. FlipComp, what FlipComp does is just gives you the highest sold property in the neighborhood, essentially, and that's it. That's not very good data. That could be a different style house. This is giving you homes that are going to be like the home once yours is done, and that's why the underwriting is really important. So then we're giving you like properties of what your property will be like when it's done. Now, each of the comps, well, here this is the, you can check that this is the subject. You can check the exterior and interior photos, click through the slideshow. This is all the information pulled right off the MLS. So this is telling you, is it on a crawl space? Does it have a full basement? Does it have a finished basement if the agent fills it out properly? What is the tax square footage? What is the tax bedrooms, bathrooms? Is that different from what the bedrooms, bathrooms are on the listing? These are sometimes could be indications that maybe something was done without a permit, an addition. Then you can review the comps on this same email. All the comps are also given to you as well. And these are all given with pictures and details. Again, with all those same details. You can't use comps if your property is on a crawl space and all the comps have basements. Those aren't good comps, but you can see all that information by looking through the details.
Who's creating the comps?
So that's the underwriters.
At this firm?
Correct. So you're going to be able to compare each comparable to the subject, and then you're identifying the ARV. You got to do your own due diligence though. Again, they're underwriting anywhere between, each underwriter is underwriting between 100 to 150 homes a day. Okay? So they could miss something. You need to verify the information, but if it's a smoking deal, you need to move on it very, very quickly. Verify and make that offer. Get a hold of your agent. So right through the email, you can click submit an offer. Right then, your next tabs, you enter in your closing date, your offer amount, and your earnest money amount. Very, very easy to submit offers. And then what happens once you do that, it's going to notify the listing agent that this is what you want to offer. Or not the listing agent, the buyer's agent. And then we'll be able to then submit your offer. And then it's time to negotiate the deal. Once it gets to the broker's hand, they have all your information. That broker can get your signatures on record, so they don't even have to necessarily send it to you in DocuSign. It speeds up the process. You can also email the broker if you have questions. If you want more info, a window will pop up where you can reach out to the broker with any more information that you may need into the house. You could also schedule a showing, all from this email. If you want to walk the property, click request a showing and set it up. So pick the date and time that you want to see that property, and then we'll set that up. Even if you don't make an offer, you want to see it first, that's fine. We're going to set you up with the showing. And then you could also talk to your broker right off this email that gets sent to you with the investment summary. And then the information for the broker comes up. So this is really disrupting the marketplace. I was talking, and all the methods I talked to you guys about, you guys can definitely, and I recommend you utilizing, especially networking with agents in specific target areas. But it's getting more difficult for agents to compete with this kind of speed, because these properties are, once they're underwritten, they're out. We're making offers on them immediately. There's not many agents that are sitting at the MLS 24 hours a day waiting for updates. Or if you're setting it up at certain times, you may have a gap at 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. That property could have been listed at 12:02 p.m. And you don't get the information until 5, and it's already under contract. So the team that developed this purchased over 6,000 homes from Blackstone. Again, the data is real time. It gets sent to the underwriters every 20 seconds after it gets scrubbed. It uses the algorithms to identify opportunity in the market, and then the human element goes to play. Data is underwritten, and again, it gets sent to you within 30 minutes. And every opportunity that's sent is vetted by a professional acquisitions analyst who have experience at over 100,000 valuations. So the record with this software is a property was listed within 17 minutes. Again, this isn't the normal. Within 17 minutes of it being listed, went under contract. This technology, I get really excited about it because it's disrupting the marketplace. You're covering all 7 counties in the Chicagoland area. So you can go out to Elgin, you can do the south side of Chicago, you could do Chicago Ridge, you could do Matson, you could do Monique, you could do Joliet, you could do, where you go with this is essentially here in the Chicagoland area in the 7 counties. What's great about this is you get data, again, that's configured specifically to your cost of money. And you can follow the deals all the way to the end. So let's say a property becomes active, you make an offer, they don't accept your offer. Well, you can mark that property as a favorite and follow it all the way until it sells. More importantly, if you lose a deal, you can see why. Let's say you made, let's just say, 40 offers. Okay? Out of those 40 offers, you lost 30 of them by 3% of your purchase price. What does that tell you? Now you have the data. I need to adjust my purchase price by 3. I need to figure out how to make up this 3%, whether that's getting cheaper money, doing something differently. But now you can figure out a way, you can look at the data to then better utilize making offers. And then FSBOs, multifamilies, Zillows, these are all coming soon. Through this software, we're going to be able to underwrite any type of property. Whether it's on the MLS or not, it's going to be pulling it right off the tax data. So if you guys are interested in this, we're not taking on everyone, but what I would say is go to getdealsfirst.com, input your information, and then we'll reach out to you to see what your goals are. But we're not going to do this for everyone. It's just we want to have a few clients and a few good clients. So we're looking for people who treat this as a business and a hobby, which most of the people in here, that's the truth. That most people here, you're here tonight, you could be with your family, you could be with your kids, you could be at a sporting event, you could be doing a million other things, but you're here tonight. So that tells me that you guys are serious. But that's the type of people we're looking for, people that want to do this as a business. Go to getdealsfirst.com. We'll then reach out to you after you enter your parameters. We'll set up a phone meeting and see if there's a way we can work together. Do you guys have any questions?
What's the cost?
Very good.
I'll take two.
I'll take 2.
So the cost, okay. So what's great about this is, so flip comp, what are you paying? $150 a month? 97, okay. So you got in at a good rate. Sometimes they're charging $150 right now. So the cost for this, and this is comparing it, if you went into flip comp right now, I think the cost is $150. This is $295, but you have a human element that flip comp doesn't even light a candle to what this does. This is underwritten by people who essentially work for hedge funds. What's great about it, if you only do 2 deals a year, you can pause it. So you have it for 3 months, you get a deal, pause it. Now you're getting close to the end of your renovation, start it up again. And then you can start it, stop it, pause it. Most people though, I don't recommend pausing it because you're potentially passing up on opportunities. Perhaps that's where you can joint venture with people in this room to do deals. So $295 a month is all that it would cost you as a buyer.
Is this Rosario's thing?
So you can go to your own location?
So you say, I want to work in Auburn Gresham, or I want to work in Logan Square or Pilsen, and I'm looking for this specific things in Pilsen. That's what we're going to be sending you. Whatever your criteria is in your specific target area. So Chicago is so big, it's divided by neighborhoods.
Do multifamily?
Right now, it's not. It's in the works to do multifamily. Once that happens, the multifamily people are going to be in trouble because most of that is so backwards as the way it is now. Most of the brokers, when they're getting offers this quick, they're like, who the heck are you guys? I mean, it's because you're getting in front of people right away. Again, everything, it comes down to speed of once something's listed. It's listed right, going at full price. If it's not listed right, you still make your offer where it needs to be. But that's speed is everything when something's listed on the MLS because good deals don't last long.
So the multifamily, does this program pick up 1 to 4s? Just single family?
Single and condos right now.
Single and
When
condo.
you be ready for multi?
I don't know when that's going to be, probably a few months. But
Can you enter your addresses for off-market properties and will they now analyze those?
so that's what I was talking about with the coming soon, where you'll be able to do that, where you'll be able to underwrite any property. So let's say you're a wholesaler, for example, and you go on 3 appointments a day. You don't even need to do you want to do your own analysis, but you can have them do the heavy lifting for you while you're in appointments. Because to me, the most important thing if I'm an investor is getting in front of as many people as possible, not sitting there and analyzing properties all day, and then just verify, because it's much quicker to verify than it is to do all the information yourself. So that's coming soon.
You've spoken a lot about, getting in front of the seller rapidly. Do you recommend putting a fairly short response time requirement when you get to the office?
Yeah, like you could say this offer expires and this offer is going to explode in 30 seconds or something, like James Conner.
17 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, then you're getting really pushy. I mean, but hey, if we're your brokers, we can do whatever you want. I've never used that strategy. Like what I say is that this offer expires tonight because I've got other offers on other properties, or I need to know because, I mean, you would be the client, so it's whatever you, however you want us to communicate that. But I've had that backfire too. You never want to close the door completely.
Okay.
All right, so we're talking about this too. Did you guys have any questions? I've covered a lot of information before this software as well. Jared? Oh.
Yeah, quick question. This is a really exciting product. The way my brain works is always about scale and visionary. So take this out 5 years, it takes off. It's not just in the 7 counties. It spans like wild.
It'll be worldwide, yeah. Or you're not worldwide, U.S. wide.
Countrywide. So what does it look like for, in your eyes, for a broker? I think competition is really good, but here I just see complete dominance. So it could be like a major factor in a complete boom bust. Which I don't mind. I think you can make money on both sides. But do you see that happening 60 months out? This thing takes off. And what happens to the broker that works hard, right? But, I mean, I think competition, right? You're going to have to hustle. And I don't know if humans can beat a system.
Because what this is, it's like trading now, right?
Yeah.
So stock trading, many times you're facing algorithms, right? This is what this is right here. Now, brokers, so it's going to eliminate a lot of the brokers that are working specifically with investors, unless they're tied into the system. So instead of me trying to fight the system, I'm joining it.
Yeah.
So I'm joining the dark side. So, because to me, I'd rather be on this side than doing the things the old way and losing out on opportunities. I'd rather be in this and stay ahead of the curve. Because you're right, eventually, but see, the thing that this is not going to do is this isn't for homeowners that are looking to buy a house for the white picket fence. This is specifically for buying the dirty properties that need work.
This isn't for retail.
This isn't for retail. I mean, who knows? This could evolve to where it becomes retail. I don't know. But many times buyers are emotional and they're like investors to me. It's the numbers. I could care less if the house is pretty or not. You know, it could be the ugliest thing in the world. To me, there's no emotion. It's what's the numbers say. Where most traditional buyers are emotion driven once they walk into a house. But even the traditional real estate model is changing drastically too.
Last thing, how many clients are currently signed up with this product and actively using it?
Less than 20.
Big advantage.
So Blackstone uses this, and I know they're buying everything she bought. They'll be knocking people out of the water.
Well, so this is not being used with Blackstone right now. No, the people that developed this were Blackstone's top echelon people. So they developed this, and their theory is that there's never going to be a huge crash because there's a lot of hedge funds that have been built up that are waiting for dips in the market, and they're going to come in and buy it up. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've been told, because now there's tons and tons of hedge funds that are just sitting by the sidelines waiting for a real estate dip, and then they jump into the market and that'll push values back up again. But again, the key to this is getting in, getting a full price offer if it's priced right, locking it up ASAP. That listing agent that listed that home and got it under contract in an hour to their client, man, that's the best real estate agent I ever worked with in my life. You know, they're going to be talking up to the listing agents that have those listings. They look like rock stars. Any other questions? Again, oh, you had a question.
Yeah, I did, and I'm backing up. So, when you're borrowing money for a deal, the lender usually asks for an appraisal, and that appraisal has comps in it. How does that compare to the comps that you're trying to run when you're making a deal?
The comps that we're giving you is, so they're underwriting it like they're appraisers, and they're giving you the like properties that the appraiser is going to use. So for example, if you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch with a basement, those are the types of properties that we're sending you, so it's going to be able to appraise. So we're sending you like properties. Again, we're not sending you a American four-square home when that home's a bungalow, because they're not like properties.
Well, I asked the question because I've seen appraisal reports and they weren't like properties, so I was kind of confused with that.
Yeah, I mean, see, appraisers too. I mean, I just had a house that we sold. One appraiser was $50,000 different than another appraiser. So we had to order the second appraisal. We had 2 offers on the house. People were willing to pay that price. The other offer was very similar to the first offer. It's worth that much money, regardless of what the first appraiser, even if nothing sold for that price in that neighborhood. That's what the market was demanding, and agents were pissed that we didn't let them in the house the next 3 days. Got under contract in 2 days. So that was the value. We might have even undersold the house. But appraisers didn't have that. So appraisers can be way off from each other. But we're giving you data not on assumptions. We're giving you on actual closed data. I would never tell you to buy a house if the data is saying $200,000 is what you're going to get for it fixed up. You can't think that you're going to sell yours for $225 because you have this really nice tree in the front yard, you know, or you have this really nice tile that you install. You know, your resale value is $200,000, just like the other comps. If you get more, that's fantastic. I love it, but you can't use that on the analysis.
Will they analyze those for you that are off market?
So that's what was coming soon. Yep, absolutely. Probably that'll be rolling out in just a few months here too. Anything I covered before this too, running comps, anything else?
How do you feel about a property with flood insurance on it?
Hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. I actually should have had that on the slides. So if you're in a flood zone, that can increase your annual payments by $2,000, $3,000, maybe even more, $1,000 a year. That takes out a lot of buyers, and nobody wants to buy a home in a floodplain. So, great question, great question. If all the other homes are in a floodplain, then you can use it. But there's different degrees of floodplains. You can go to the FEMA map to see what kind of category floodplain it's in. So, you get that information. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Again, if you guys are